The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome to Young Voices Making Choices Weekly Podcast. We just want to start off by saying that we are sorry for starting so late. We are here on Crenshaw in the middle of the transportation of Ermia's body right now. And we just want to thank you again for tuning in, and just a moment of silence again for his family, his friends. All right. And as you know, here at Young VMC, our purpose here is to keep you enlightened and to inform you about anything and everything that is noteworthy. So take it away.
Oh, thanks for joining us. We got a lot to cover today. I'm Zach Jones from What's Poppin', and
Erica from What's the Beef.
Tyrus from Level Up.
Bay Holloway from What's Poppin'.
And in addition to our hosts, we got a special guest today. We got Bria De Niro.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Bria.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So shout out to Bria for lending us her voice tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about our fallen heroes from death to resurrection through us. So tune in. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. And last week, we kind of left off a couple things to start out on the first Thursday of the month. And some of those things that we need to talk about are actually that April is National Cancer Awareness Month and National Autism Awareness Month. And if you have anybody that's close to you that dealing with those things, you know that those things are, a really pressing issue in the community, and we don't talk about those things enough. Also, it's National Alcohol Awareness Month. Realize if you're driving, you're under 21, a 0.01 blood alcohol content level will land you in jail, and if you're over 21, a 0.08 blood content level will also land you in jail. So just be mindful of that. It's also National Occupational and Fitness Month, so go out and get you some exercise, man.
It's a lot of
Poetry month.
It's somebody's month.
It's somebody's month every month.
Yesterday was National Sibling Day. Wasn't it? Like,
what?
National.
I can't. All right. I'm going to add on to the list of national, the national
Let's keep it going.
important dates for the month of April. April is also National Month of Humor. So anyone got a quick joke? No? On the top of the dome? A quick joke? Okay, I got one. Why did the ocean... No, I take that back. Let me take it back. Okay, let me take it back. Why did the tomato blush? The tomato blush? Because it saw the salad dressing.
Oh.
Yeah. You heard those crickets? Okay, moving on. Another one is Keep America Beautiful. It is the month of Earth Day, so you guys remember to recycle. Use those paper straws. Let's not litter. Let's keep our oceans clean and our streets clean. Another one is Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month as well. So Michael J. Fox, I know, has Parkinson's. And just, go to the doctor regularly, get your regular screenings. You never know what you can have. And also a millennial favorite is National Cannabis Awareness. Anybody out there? 420, yes, 420 month as well.
Loving it.
We are here.
I mean, it's
Day
also
after
a
my
lot of health
birthday,
benefits
guys.
that go
Right?
along.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of benefits.
We talking about medical marijuana.
Exactly.
CBD.
We want to hear your thoughts about Proposition 64 and the legalization of it as well, and how that's impacted the community for the negative or the better.
Exactly.
As well as we want to give a shout out to New York for finally making it legal to not have any screenings during
drug testings, right?
Drug testings while you're trying to get employed
Oh,
or
wow.
during probation.
That's dope.
That's
So
nice.
that's awesome. Big ups to
Snaps.
New York.
Yeah, let's
for
go.
Alright.
I don't know, since you guys are tuning in, we all are from California, so it's recreational use out here and medical use. Like Bay said, we want to touch on the medicinal uses, the difference between THC and CBD. THC is the high that you get, the psychoactive effect. So if you feel it in your head, that's the THC working. The CBD is the cannabidol, and that helps you relax. It helps with stress, anxiety. It can help with nausea. If you have cancer, if you know someone of cancer, diabetes, as well as seizures. Kids with autism, seizures. It has many uses. So we just want to change that negative stigma of cannabis and let y'all know that, you know, cannabis isn't as bad as what it seems or how it's portrayed as the media. I know especially towards black people it can look bad because many of us have been incarcerated for something that is now legal. But let's just keep the positivity and make sure that if we do use it for medical or recreational uses, that we use it within our means and in a respectable manner.
Yeah, everything in moderation.
Yep.
Yeah, and as it relates to cannabis, I have a friend back home. I'm actually from Kingston, Jamaica, like you see here. I have a friend back home, Dan. If you're tuning in, big ups, Dan. But he's basically he's working on, he has a company called Cannabis College. And basically, he doesn't like to say healed people, you know, but they've reversed a lot of diseases from cancer to diabetes, and all of that is down there in Jamaica. I've witnessed it myself, you know what I'm saying? I take his products as well. So, you know, it's time for us to change the idea of cannabis. It's not just recreational, you know what I'm saying? It's medicinal, you know, it's basically an ancient herb, you know, and so... You know, we just trying to give you different perspectives out here.
That's right. That's what we do right here at YVMC.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And kind of to switch it up to another note that also we need to bring light to is also National Child Abuse Month.
Yeah.
That's a really serious issue, as well as National Stress Month. So those two things may go hand in hand. So if we can prevent the stress, we may be able to prevent the child abuse. Ways that we can prevent stress on the daily are, you know, we can stop, you know, just relax, take a moment, count down. If you don't have time to meditate, you know, just count to 10. You know what I'm saying? Just try to look out to somebody that you can lean on and a rock that you have to talk to in your life. Never feel like you're alone. You can reach out to us if you really need somebody to talk to.
DM us.
Really serious note.
Our DMs are always open.
Slide in our DMs.
Yeah, not for real. And sometimes you may just need some sleep, you know, or something like that. So, you know, sleep is a really big thing.
Or some cannabis.
But
I agree.
I always say this.
Moderation.
Everything is in moderation
Yeah.
because, you know, if you find yourself needing to smoke to sleep, needing to smoke to eat on a consistent basis,
trying to cure depression or
try
anger.
meditation. At least try meditation.
Right, and get some sunlight, some vitamin D. That's
Exactly.
big as well.
And another thing, like exercise, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I'm feeling bad, I just go run, to be honest with you. I go to the gym.
Get it out.
You know, it always helps, so yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. so, you know, I'm going to give you another one. April is also National Poetry Month. And, you know what I'm saying, once again, we have Bria De Niro here with us.
Yay.
Excellent poet. You know, and so now we're going to share. Oh, yeah, let's give her a round of applause real quick.
Thank you.
So, you know, and so now we're about to share one of Bria's videos entitled I Am Black. Beautiful piece. Hope you enjoy it.
I have a dream. Like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, and it may not be worth recording, but it's worth noticing. I have a dream that one day the same kids in my high school classrooms will be the same kids in my college classrooms, and I'm not talking about the white kids. No offense. I'd rather see them beside me asking for help than on the news for death, for murder, for stealing. I'd rather see my classmates labeled as the people for a better tomorrow instead of who are you visiting today? 17 years standing in this exact same spot. You'd think by now he owns a part of this block. The same black boy trying to be a black man for his black friends, the ones you would consider to be loyal. But whenever you see more than one disloyal friend around, the loyal friends become just as loyal as the ones wanting him 6 feet down. The same black boy that goes to church every Sunday and can recite any Bible verse you throw his way. The same black boy that says Malcolm X and Martin Luther King are his idols, and he hopes one day to be crowned with the same title as a hero. The same black boy that's quick to raise his hand in class to get a better understanding on why World War I began. The same black boy that says the war ain't never gonna solve nothing. The same black boy with a gun in his hands. With his AP class as an honor student. You can't tell me this is the same black boy I'm staring at today on the news for murder. No, not for murder. For the association. The same black boy that dreamt of going to college, possibly to get his degree in music, Because behind closed doors, he liked to play the piano for his mom. She always thought he had a future. And it didn't involve drug dealings and store stealings, now fights and killings. This can't be the same black boy I used to call my friend. I always told him to get out of it, but he never listened. Because his gang friends offered security that wasn't persistent, and it was nothing a girl like I could do. I couldn't give him the same amount of respect that supposedly the streets would. The same streets that left the same gun in his possession. Nah, I'll hold it, bro. It's good. Just run. Just run. Just run? Just run just got you life with no bail. What does your dream look like now? What are they telling you to do now? Don't worry. Don't answer. Just sit there and think about it. Because you have the rest of your life to sit there and think about it. What are you going to do? Write a rap and make a track about it? Blame the streets and say they made you this way, influencing all future black men to think the same. Because, see, we don't have any real idols. Because we don't know our history. And I'm not talking about the slave ships because anyone past 5th grade knows this. Boys look at these gangbangers rapping and trapping as a guidance, and our poor black women look at these video vixens. Everyone can't make a living that way. And I don't want to get started on the word nigga. We walk around like we're so superior demanding respect when we don't respect ourselves. What's up, my nigga? I wasn't your nigga just 200 years ago, I was your nigger. And I wasn't a sign of respect. It meant I'm about to get beat down to my last layer of black skin before my black kin, and by that time my skin has seen more colors than a rainbow. Over 200 years later, and we're still saying nigga, pretending that we're giving it a new meaning by allowing not only us, but other races to engage in it. Oh, it couldn't be bad anymore. We're giving it a new definition. Joke's on the white people who still use it and at any given chance will use it against us. Freaking niggers. No, joke's on us. The media portrays pictures for each type of us, and we believe it. Well, I'll tell you this. No TV show or social network would tell me where I'll end up in 10 years because I was a 17-year-old black girl when I wrote this, hadn't been raped, beaten, or in jail, and though I've had my share of life struggles, right there I've already overcome statistics. And I'll tell you one more thing. The Racial Integrity Act of 1924, the act that has the one drop rule that says one drop of blood, one accidental drip into your bloodstream labels you black. The first people in this world were black, meaning if we were created through them, we all have black bloodlines, meaning they are no longer limiting us, but empowering us with negative intentions. But no one wants to notice because we rather rant about being victimized. We are the people. It may have taken us many and many years to get us into the office, but we are the people. We've overcome rapings, dogs, separate bathrooms, chains, people who make us feel below the people race itself. But you see, today in 2014, and since 2008, the same people who have been spit on and made to be a disgrace are now running this country. Because my president is Barack Obama, and his skin and hair looks like mine, and last time I checked, I'm black.
Snaps.
Yeah.
Snaps for this young, beautiful artist.
Thank you, guys.
No, for real. Well, I mean, I think I'll start off by saying I've watched the video already. Mm-hmm. Second time watching it, it was just as amazing as the first time.
Thank you.
I mean, you know, it really encapsulates everything. You know what I'm saying? It encapsulates the struggle. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't really changed much from, you know what I'm saying, past century or so, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely do think that it's relevant even now, you know what I'm saying? We in the middle of just losing Nipsey Hussle, you know. We right here on Crenshaw right now. Just saw his body pass, so it's just as relevant as, you say you met that in when?
I wrote that when I was 17.
17.
And I'm 26 next week.
You 26?
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, I wrote that like my senior year of high school.
Wow, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know everybody got questions, but my first question is, what pushed you to write that poem?
What made me write that? So when I was in high school, I was pretty much who I am now, but just young and super passionate. And I went to Hamilton, so the school is that type of school. We were all like really passionate, and I think that just everything that was just like around me inspired it. I'm not really sure because I was so young. I think I just wrote it, and then no, you know what? Actually, I do know. I wrote it for a Black History Assembly at Hamilton. Okay. And then I ended up performing it the first time, and then everyone didn't believe that I actually wrote it. Like all the teachers. And then I performed it at multiple assemblies, and then they started having me perform it in classes and things at the school. And it was like one of my first like full poems that I wrote, because I always wrote poetry, but I never pieced it together like that. And then after I graduated high school, I decided that I wanted to make poetry videos and be different, like how rappers have music videos, but for poetry. And then that was my first video.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Well, I have just one question. And we kind of like briefed on it when the video was on, but my perspective used to be that when I was younger. When I got older and being in so many different communities, I was taught this, that the N-word, the word, I don't know if I can say it on air, the N-word, basically, when we go to other houses or other cultures, if you go into an Asian American's household, you have to take off your shoes before you walk into that house.
Right.
If you go into a Hispanic household, you have to greet every one of the elders. We don't ask them questions. We just do it as a sign of respect.
Right, absolutely.
And black people, every part of our culture has been diminished from us.
Right.
And the culture that we base our identity on is based broadly off of slavery. Yeah. And some of the stuff is negative, some of the stuff is positive, but all of it, for the most part, all we know is slavery. We can go previous beyond that, where we started off. We don't know which country we came from, but we know for certain is that we were enslaved.
Right.
So, as a part of our culture, we use the N-word. Some like to say for like motivating, empowerment. I don't even like to say that. Right. Because we don't even say it in a motivating, empowerment way. We say it as a part of our culture.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So when you go into an Asian person's house, you take off your shoes. You don't ask questions.
That's their culture.
That's their culture. When you go into a Spanish person's house, you make sure you say hi to every one of the elders. You don't ask questions.
Right.
You don't get to walk into
don't
get to walk into your girlfriend. If you're
culture.
dating a Hispanic woman, you don't get to walk into her bedroom without saying hi to anybody.
Absolutely.
It's out of the culture.
Right.
So for the culture, we're in this movement of for the culture. I still want to give that respect to the N-word not being stigmatized as for respect, but for the culture.
Absolutely.
So I know there's a long-winded question.
I get it though.
but what is your take on it, and how have you updated, or even if you still keep that mindset, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
But I would love to see what your mindset is now compared from 17 to 26 on that.
That's a great question. Because, I do often reflect on this video, and I do reflect on the things that I said in this video. And it's like you said, now that I'm older and I've experienced more of life, and I've experienced so much more since when I wrote that poem, that I do think it's culture. I think I have mixed opinions on it. I think the word's derogatory. I think it definitely can be disrespectful. I don't think that because we use it so freely and because it is our culture, that other racists now think that they can emulate us and that they can say that. I don't think that line they can now cross because we have accepted, like, this is just what it's going to be. We're not, it's hard to grow up saying something and then try not to say it anymore. Right. It's culture. That's just what it is. And like you said.
And if you're not a part of that culture, then just don't say it.
Exactly. and I understand that, Hispanics, a lot of Hispanics grow up with black people and we grow up similar, and it seems like, okay, well, I grew up saying it, so now I can say it too, but I still feel like you said it's respect. And you should know, like, where the word comes from. And I think it's just as simple, if you're not black, don't say it. And if you're black, you can say it. But how you feel personally dictates if you say it or not as a black person. But I still think it's disrespectful when other races say it. But I don't look at black people when they say it, think, oh, they don't have self-respect. I don't think that. I don't think, or if they say it to someone else, I don't think that. Because I still say it. Like, it still freely comes out. And then I'm like, maybe I should not say that so casually. And then sometimes, like, it is my culture. Because you have, like, on the runways now, they have baby hairs. Like this is marketable. Right. You have everything of our culture now being profited from. And no, I just, if that's what it's going to be, then we can't say it. Essentially, I think I have grown from that where I probably won't raise my children saying it because they won't be in that environment. But because that is where I come from, if I say it, I don't think any less of myself as a black woman. I don't think that I think any less of the black man if I say it to him. But I do try to limit it, at least. Right. But I don't know. I just have mixed feelings on it. Maybe it depends on the day.
Now I have a question for you as a Black woman who is a writer as well. Why do you think it's so important, since it's National National Stress Month? One of the days, National Stress Month.
One of the days,
because we listen like 15
There's a lot of
days.
days going on in April.
There's a lot of days in April, but my question is, do you think it's important as Black men and women to write their feelings down, like keep a journal just to, de-stress?
I could never keep up with my journal.
And, no, you know what? Honestly, I journal.
Like 20.
I have a
Back
journal,
up
but
at home.
I journal when I can. Like, we have our daily lives. Like, I haven't journaled in a week. It's not that it's not that I don't want to journal. It's just that I've had other things to do, and it's. I hate to say this because I'm a writer, but it's not at the top right now. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get back to my consistency. But yeah, I mean, do you think it's important? And do you have any tips for a young writer, a young poet like yourself?
I think it's extremely important. I have so many notebooks. Like, I know it's kind of cliche for a writer, but I don't go anywhere without a notebook. And it's because as a writer, I feel like I do less writing and more just like freestyling.
Right.
Like, the things I write is not something I sat there and pondered on. It's something that I'm like, some of my greatest poems, I'm washing the dishes and all of a sudden now it came to me. Or, like, even sometimes I'm dreaming and I wake up and I still remember the line and then I carry it on from there. So it's like either I have a notebook or I go in the notes in my phone. And that's super crucial too.
Yeah.
But how that storage looking?
Right. She got 16 gigs.
I got thousands of notes. Like, I try to sometimes go if I press random words so I can just delete unnecessary ones. But I think that something I've learned as a writer, I've learned that reading is as important as writing. And that for me to grow, I think that for me to grow into who I am, I had to read a lot. And I think writers should spend as much time reading as they should writing. And I think all people in general should read.
Right.
Because where you get true knowledge from, true game, true everything is from books. It's not from TV. It's not necessarily from music. That might be immediate and it might be easier to digest, but books hold all the real truth. And, like, for young writers, I would just write more. I would read more. I'll try to read a book once a week, like one book a week, most 2 weeks. And that's actually a tip I got from Stephen King because he's one of my favorite authors.
Okay.
And he has a book. It's a memoir. The title is On Writing. And he speaks a lot about his journey, the things he went through as a writer, writing tips while talking about his journey. And he said that if you're a serious writer, you should read a book. You should read a book a week or an hour a day, and you should write 1,000 words a day. And when I first read that book, I was pregnant with my son. And then I said, you're absolutely right, because when was the last time I read a book? It's probably been 2 years. And then in that year of me being pregnant, or 10 months over, because it seemed like a year, I challenged myself to read more. And in that time, in 2017, I read 30 books in that year.
Wow.
30 books. And I feel like...
Which one was your favorite that year?
The developmental psychology of the Black child.
Ooh.
Well, that was very important.
That is very important. Yeah.
By Dr. Amos Wilson. And that, as a parent, is probably the most imperative book that I could have ever read. It's not easy. It's not an easy book. It's going to be a book that you have to read again and probably again because of just like the wording and how deep he gets, how thorough he is. But it's something I think definitely in the Black community you should read because we're not raising the same children that white people are raising. We're not the same. Like, not that we're not all people, but we're raising our children differently because society is different and we have to prepare them differently. We also need to not be, we can't rely on society to show us how to do things. We can't rely on things like them diagnosing our kids with things or like, oh, your child is wild, he has ADHD, now we're going to come with medicine. No, it's like you have to know the truth of where everything comes from and then you start to question everything.
Right.
And then you can create your own, like, being how you move essentially.
Right.
Question everything. I agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So to expand upon that, like, what would you tell? Like, I guess a lot of these millennials may have children as well. So what can you tell them to basically help them? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. Develop their children as young creatives, like raise up a creative, not necessarily. We're taught, okay, go be a doctor, a lawyer, but now you're a writer, and obviously your child may want to be a creative. So how can you guide them as a creative, or what are some things that maybe you can help from a young age instill in them?
Well, my son's 15 months, so I'm still fresh. But I do think about
playing Beethoven.
Yeah,
I'm still. I do play that to get him to sleep at night. It soothes him. But that is something I'm constantly thinking about. Like, what am I going to do that's differently? I think I just want to acknowledge that for us, for our generation, being a parent is really hard. Like, no matter
That's
how...
why none of us want to be kids.
Exactly. That's why we push off marriage and parenthood that we say to like 30 plus, but when it happens, it happens. And it's just like, it's really hard because you have to try to survive, you have to try to take care of a kid, you have to try to take care of yourself while still giving them the time to nurture them, to help their brain develop. So that's just the parents, like, just in general, just cut yourself some slack, because sometimes you get overwhelmed and it is hard. But I think for my son, he's really, my son's really smart. He's really, really smart. Like, already he's pretty, like, independent. When I was pregnant, the doctor told me that he showed, like he showed signs of being really intelligent and self-sufficient. And all of us are like, he's kind of in the womb, but we know you, this is your job. But now that he's here, like, he does so much by himself. Like, he throws his own trash away. He gets his shoes. He gets his clothes. He just turned 15 months a few days ago.
Oh, so he's a year old. Yeah.
He's a year old. Yeah. He started walking at like the end of 8 months. Like, he can say a few words. So he's like super intelligent. And I just try to like encourage that. So I speak to him. I never talk baby talk. I speak to him. I say words to him. I read to him. I give him books. I let him open his books. I let him figure things out. He's really into computers and electronics, so I got him his own, like, and let him just figure it out. Because if you teach him at a young age, technology's so big, they can pick up so much more than we could, because we thought, like, inputting and putting wires in to plug up the DVD was something. But they can really learn. Like, now the internet's free. You could teach them any and everything, and you could teach yourself that to teach them that. So I would just encourage them. It's kind of like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union with taking his son to the Pride to encourage him and his being. I think we should do that, because a kid, your child is going to be who they are, period, in any aspect. And you as a parent just have to be there as their shield, their protector, to guide them.
There's been a lot of stigma in regards to his son. Some people are saying that, that they're placing him in an environment to where, like, somehow you can magically turn people gay or something. Right. But I definitely feel the support, especially with like, if you remember Magic, his son is also gay, and the LGBT community, is rallying behind these people. And just because he is gay doesn't mean that he's not going to play basketball in his father's footsteps. Right. Just, so it's been an interesting thing seeing younger folks hone their sexuality and what they are. And, even if they aren't gay or if they aren't straight, they're going through that experience and they're not being embarrassed. So as long as, we break that stigma of everything, of being embarrassed, then we can move forward and,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like understood the mixed reviews. I felt like maybe he is too young, but I mean, he's like 11. Yeah. When I was 11, I started getting tattoos at 14. So at 11,
when I was 12,
I knew a lot.
There was a girl when I was 12 that was pregnant. She was always pregnant. She never had the baby, but she was always pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. When I was a kid, I made my Barbies gay sometimes, and my friends snitched on me. Like, I said, oh, so this, okay, now I guess it's not right or whatever. Right. Like, we try to act like children don't know. No, they know. No. I remember I started writing at 3, like really writing poetry at 3. So we can't act like their mind is it might be immature, but they still are aware. And if he's owning it, it's not going to change. It's not going to change at 18. Like, he knows now, and it's best to support him now, because I think the original fear for blacks with homosexuality is
not being seen as a man.
Like, reproduction, sure, that's a whole nother like
topic.
Talk about a lot. But I think society's evil, and you feel like if your son is gay, then he's going to get murdered, he's going to get bullied, he's going to get all type of things. And if you know now, if your son is saying now, like, at that age, 11, that this is what I am, then now you can train him for how the world will treat him, or you can help him stronger, because
you can be
opposed to hiding it.
Whether or not you agree with people's livelihood, because I know we have a wide array of audience who may feel opposite. And if you do, then definitely comment in our sections, because we want to hear you guys' opinion from young to old. Everyone has their own opinion in regards to this, but this is stuff that, that we need to talk about. Things about the LGBT community, things about issues in our own community when it comes to violence. And, things like that need to be talked about. like what happened with Nipsey, that needs to be talked about.
Definitely.
Like, you know?
Talked about, yeah.
Before we get into that though, you really, listening to you, you know what I'm saying, you raised a really good topic, you know, of interest to speak about, because, you know, what happened to Nipsey and, you know, what happens in the black community daily, you know, that's a normal thing, which is terrible. And I feel like we're going to have to start addressing these things, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We can't just look at it like, you know what I'm saying, people can't only be pissed when a white policeman comes in and kills black people, but when black people are killing, you know what I'm saying, their own, it's like, oh, it's a normal thing, you know what I'm saying, we banging, we doing what, you know, so, but you did it, listening to you talk about your son, you know, it really made me look at, I'd done a paper on the importance of the black woman to society, well, really black society, we're talking about uplifting the black community. It starts with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Why does it start with you guys? You guys are the first. Just like you said, he was smart in the womb. You know what I'm saying? That's not a coincidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You teaching them from the womb, so the energy that you guys are giving off. You know what I'm saying? Y'all believe in energy, right?
Of
Y'all
course. Transfer of energy is definitely a real thing.
Because I don't want people to think I'm crazy when I'm talking about energy. You know what I'm saying? But we talking about positive energy. Yo, your baby feels that in the womb. You know what I'm saying? Kids feel that. That's why kids don't approach certain people, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Everybody's seen that. Yeah. And then some people they're attracted to. So we just talking about the importance of the black woman, and not just to you guys, but us as black men. It's about empowering the black woman. You understand me? Because that's how we change a generation. That's how we go. That's how we go forward and change the black community. You know what I'm saying? We have to empower our women. We have to start belittling our women, and that pride and that courage that we will give them, you know, and that strength, you know, because black women are naturally strong already. But, you know, with our support, we really just like the bodyguards, you know what I'm saying? And with that, they'll take that and pass that on to the next generation. As you said, if you teach the child early, you know what I'm saying, and you teaching them the right things, then the next generation is, you know what I'm saying? You starting that quick. You know, because I work off of the morals my parents gave me. Y'all do the same, so exactly. You know what I'm saying? And
to touch on that, since we're talking about the next generation, how is your poem "I Am Black" going to help the next generation after the unfortunate death of Nipsey Hussle? What do you think is a solution as a young millennial black community, people of color everywhere, Hispanics, how we can rise above this and, you know, make something positive out of this, because there's been a lot of negative, you know, stigma attached to this in regards to gangs. So what's your take on that?
Nipsey passing was probably, like, in my opinion, the most tragic thing in my generation. And I mean, I don't say that lightly, because I know what's all has gone in America in 26 years. But, like, in my opinion, he was a prophet, and he was a prophet from God, and he fulfilled his mission, he fulfilled his purpose. And, you know, some people, they live 80 years and they don't have that impact. They live long lives and they can't leave anything behind. They don't have much to say. Like, once they go, they don't have much else left behind that they did, how they changed anything, impact the world. And, you know, it's just so, like, the whole situation is just a lot to me. Like, I have so many feelings towards it. Like, on a personal level, on a level for the black community, as the level as trying to do the same thing as him. Sometimes it discourages you. Yeah. Like, why do I put in all of this effort if someone could so easily take my life? But at the same time, it's also the most motivating thing I feel like I've felt in so long. I haven't seen the world has become so numb, and I think social media desensitizes us. We lose empathy, and humans are meant to be empathetic. We are meant to feel what the next person feels. And we have just stopped. We stopped caring. We stopped seeing, because it was so consistent, because you could see so much so fast and then keep going on with your life that it didn't matter. And it's shifted the energy of the world. Everyone shifted. There are so many groups uniting, so not just gangbangers. There are just so many different groups who are feuding, who are now coming together to show that there can be unity. And it's so important not to let people die in vain, not to let their purpose go without being unheard, without feeling something. Because aside from Nip, I had a friend named Sean who was a rapper in LA, from Inglewood to be exact. And he wasn't as big as Nip yet, but he still had an influence. And he was killed the same way in 2017.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. And a lot of us who are from LA just had to feel that pain about him. Because like the same pain we're feeling about Nipsey, and he was trying to fulfill his purpose. And so much of that, like I created something called Marketing Mondays, because aside from doing poetry, I like work as a creative director, and I try to live through his legacy, carry on his legacy by doing things like that, or things that represent them. And I think that's what the black community has. It's not just the black community. It's not even just black people. This is everyone at this point. We all need to realize that there is no true division, that we create the division between us.
Right.
Everyone is one. Everyone is equal. We all, at the end of the day, are going to die and have to see God. And what we do on this earth dictates our afterlife. And we have to stop living like it doesn't. Like, you can't just live without a purpose. You can't live without a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to know your next move, because just roaming, just floating is not going to, it's dangerous. And a lot of people, like guys and gangbangers and things like that, they're just floating because they don't know their purpose, and a lot of that's because they don't educate themselves. And that's why I always go back to education. And Nipsey was so smart. He was so smart. He read so much, and he put so much into being smarter. It's not corny to be smart. It's like, if you know the history of things.
He was valedictorian in his high school.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of things that I actually learned, like, throughout the process of being out there and filming. Like, the fact that he was out there to give clothes to someone who had just came home. Not only that, but his family impacted the entire community. Speaking to, his brother, telling him, look, keep your head up. We got it from here. Absolutely. And like having to look his aunt straight in the eye and her cry and point out to us and just say, like, like, I hear you and I'm here. It's something that's crazy. I never met this community, the Eritreans. These women, when we talk about the empowerment of a black woman, these women went out there in flowers. They had flowers that they had spray painted into the Eritrean flag.
That's beautiful.
And there were 2 times, when we talk about the building of the community, there were 2 times where there were balloons that went up into the electrical wires and burst and scared people, because we were so scared of each other. PTSD. We were so scared of the idea of someone bringing out a gun or something like that. There were 2 stampedes that happened, where every time there was a stampede, we ran, but then we came back, put the barricades up, and made sure that there was space for Nipsey to come through. Made sure there was space for the 60s and everybody who was a part of the family to come through, because we wanted to still show respect. Right. And not only that, but back to those Eritrean women, they saw how well, I made sure everybody was okay. They made sure that I was in the front. And that shows how I'm not even Eritrean. I just learned about their culture. And out of respect, knowing that, you're here with who? Young Voices Making Choices. Young Voices Making Choices for millennials. We're making a difference. You need to be in the front. And they put us in the front so that way we can get these footages. So I do want to give a great shout out to the Eritrean women who supported Nipsey, and all of the people, all of the family members who were supportive.
Eritreans and Ethiopians coming together. It's
Everyone
major. A lot of people didn't even know that Eritreans exist. They just think of Ethiopian, not even knowing like there's a division between them. It's definitely a difference.
And they came together. There were Mexicans, there were white people, there were every race and creed. And the best part about it was the fact that they didn't see, we wasn't saying, there were black people, there was black pride, but there was also a unity. It was like a defined unity. And we were almost scared of that, because we kept on hearing the balloons, thinking that there were gunshots, and the police were freaking us out because they made it seem like, all right, calm down, like trying to like militarize us.
Problematic
that was when it was 2 police officers that I said, look, speak to us like we're adults, give us respect, and look at what we'll do for you. We put up the barricades. We respected.
Right.
We didn't show out.
Right.
Up and down, I heard the Muslim, the Nation of Islam saying, treat your people kind. The people that were trying to push us back to make. He said, tell them to go back, but treat them kind. They're your brothers. They're your sisters.
That's
Do not,
right.
because people, people get overthrown with power, and they'll say, move the F back and curse you out, and then the Nation of Islam is like, no, don't talk to them that way. They're your brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Give them respect, and they will respect you back. And guess what? It was given respect. So, with that being said, they've just laid the body to rest.
Rest in peace, Nip. Neighborhood Nip.
Where do we go from here?
Right. I mean, where do we go from here? We have celebrated his life. We have mourned his death this past week and a half. So, like Ms. De Niro said, we don't want to let his life and death be in vain. So how can we move on from here? Like how you said, I mean, I already seen one solution was Nick Cannon, who rose to the occasion and said that he wanted to continue the documentary about Dr. Sevi, his life and his herbal medicine. Yeah, and I want to just ask an open-ended question for all of you: which celebrities, Hispanic and Black, do you think should rise to the occasion? Because it can't just all fall on one person. Like, for a long time, it fell on Nipsey. And I think it fell on him the most because he was in the spotlight the most when it came to empowering the Black community. But, I mean, we have so many Black celebrities, so many Black entrepreneurs and philanthropists out there that it's their time to rise to the occasion. And there's power in numbers. So if we have multiple people that can rise to the occasion and to make our community better, it's time. So who do you think should take the baton?
They untouchable.
Hold up.
Right.
Hold up. But we got to shout out Jay-Z though.
Jay-Z does a lot.
Jay-Z does a lot.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
He comes in. He's like a superhero.
Well, then Beyonce,
you in a bind? I got you. You bailed out.
He on some behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
And we also need to realize, that everybody doesn't necessarily broadcast everything.
Exactly.
That's true.
And
then somebody that I really want to spotlight as well is Meek Mill.
yeah.
Because he went through the
one.
system and now he's actually building these alliances, which I feel is important. Is yes, we can march, we can do everything we want to do, but until we have our own litigation and we can actually go into these politicians and lawmakers and actually create change and politics for that, we can't do anything. So shout out to Meek Mill for getting with Robert Frost and everything like that, and getting with these higher figureheads of power and showing that, okay, this movement is back and we have a purpose behind that. And above that, I want to see people that aren't famous. There's a lot of Black people that have money. We live in, Baldwin Heights, Ladera Hills. There's so many affluent Black people here. If they all gave just proceeds, everybody picked, HBCUs gave back, because the main issue people don't want to go to HBCUs is because of financial aid. That's the biggest thing at HBCUs. So if we get that straight and we start to educate ourselves, we learn knowledge of self at a young age, then I believe that'll start to instill, great values, and we see our communities go up.
I definitely hear that. I know this is, I hate to be this person, but I do want to shout out Kim Kardashian. She has been doing a lot. And as much as I don't like the negative stigma of the Kardashians, I do have to give respect when respect is due. She's going to follow in her father's footsteps and take the bar exam. She does not have to have a college education to do so in the state of California. She is going to get her hopefully pass the bar and become a lawyer and fight for Black civil rights.
She did a lot for Miss and Toya Brown.
Put a lot in perspective for her, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think, following what you said, I think that we need to. I think we should stop waiting on celebrities, because celebrities already somewhat they're doing a lot. They know their craft.
They can lose their platform trying to help,
and they might not be. It's not. Like they say, like Nip said, it's not on you, it's in you. And some people are born knowing that, I know from day one, this is what I'm meant to do. Some people are born because, Beyonce is amazing, but Beyonce's not an activist. Beyonce can do things creatively to send messages, but Beyonce is not going to be someone speaking. She's not going to be Michelle Obama. We have people who are set to do certain things, and we need to not overlook them. We need to not only focus on celebrities and music artists, especially, because right now everything seems like it revolves around music. True. So much hype around music, Cardi B and stuff I listen to her. I'm not gonna knock her or nothing like that, but I'm just saying it's so much that we put our focus on that doesn't get us anywhere, and we need to acknowledge the activists, and we need to like, I think everyone can take something from Nipsey's death. Everyone can, like, really look and think, when I go, what am I going to leave behind? What is my purpose? What is my God-given purpose? Because it's not you, it's God. God designed you. He created you specifically for something. And if we sleep on our talents and gifts, he will take it and give it to someone else, because the purpose still has to be fulfilled.
Right.
And we just need to look at ourselves. It doesn't matter your upcoming. It doesn't matter the things you've been through. It doesn't matter how people view you in the past. You are who you create yourself to be. You're not any less of a prophet or a leader because you grew up in the Crenshaw district, because you grew up in Inglewood, because you grew up in Jamaica, wherever you grew up. Like, you are here for a purpose, and live out your purpose. Like, we all have our own purpose, and we can all do our part in whatever part that is, and come together to change everything, change the world.
Yeah, so I would add to that for me, we speaking a lot about individuals, you know what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, it's about the community. You know what I'm saying? It's only gonna change when everybody's on the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between, like, the black community and other communities. You know what I'm saying? How I look at it, because everybody's on the same mindset. The Jews are all on the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's why they, you know what I'm saying?
I believe the same thing that you're saying, but I think that more and more we've been growing, and we do have.
I agree. We've been growing. I definitely
And that's what Nip was talking about. That is
real
exactly
ownership.
He said, own this stuff. He stopped gentrification. If you guys know, him and Snoop went down to the Congress and actually paused gentrification. That's the entire reason why that railroad line was there. Because that construction would have been finished if it wasn't for Nip. And that's information that I heard specifically from the people running the service, the funeral service, that Nip was out here slowing down the process of gentrification by buying the properties and then offering jobs, telling people that live there, that owned houses, do not give up those houses.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, come on, because all they're going to do is offer you money. They're going to give you an appraisal for your home that's not nowhere near what your home is worth.
Right.
And that's the most money we've seen, so we're going to run with it.
Right.
But what we don't have that other races have is generational wealth. Or they pass it on. We need to own things to pass it on. It is just that simple. Once we start owning stuff, then we're going to get more confident. We're going to get more confident as a race. And then it's not going to be about this petty stuff anymore. It's not going to be about colors. And the fact that that's even still a thing with gentrification is beyond me. It's like, we're going to look at the bigger picture. But because our mindset can be so petty sometimes because of the environment we're forced in, that it's hard to come together. Right. I feel like.
But, you know, like saying, going back to the community, like, owning things is one, you know what I'm saying, but you're going to want somebody to buy from you, you know what I'm saying, and it's, once again, going back to the black community. Nip,
buy black.
Nip,
buy
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Don't ask for a discount.
Nip set up everything in the community for the community, you know what I'm saying? It's all black people, it's all his people. You know what I'm saying? And from that, a lot of people have benefited. You know what I'm saying? Not just his close people.
Circulating the black dollar within the
that's
community.
what that does is circulate the dollar within the community. You know what I'm saying? You're not going outside and buying. So I'm talking about the Jews. The Jews buy from each other. You know what I'm saying? The Asians, they buy from each other. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, not just even monetarily, but mentally, like, we have to come together and unite and be like, all right, well, if somebody in our community, another black person, you know what I'm saying, harms another person, you know what I'm saying, there's the penalties for that, you know what I'm saying, within the community. Like, we have to have our own rule, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, no, wild, every man for himself, because that's what it is right now, and that's why we're nowhere near where we should be, you know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, our culture is based off of our culture, you know what I'm saying? If that's the case, and that's what's running the world, you know what I'm saying, people rapping in Asia, people rapping in Europe, and that's just the first part of it, you know what I'm saying? But if that's the case, we should be a million miles from where we are right now, but it's the mentality that keeps us there.
Us stuck.
You know what I'm saying? There's also, obviously, you know what I'm saying, institutional,
prisons,
you know what I'm saying, racism, systematic
yeah.
racism, but we talking about, we have to start with us. Because that's always going to be there, you know what I'm saying? The white man always going to have his hand right there.
Right.
But right now, he's running the society. Once we come together, build our own society, like Nip was doing, building his own community. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Getting the people in your community, first of all, with knowledge, but also giving, you know what I'm saying, education. And then everybody bringing their money up, then we can talk, you know what I'm saying? Money talks. So at the end of the day, it's just like, you got to, you know what I'm saying? We got to educate our own black, you know what I'm saying, the black woman, it starts with you guys, you know what I'm saying? Also starts with us, you know what I'm saying? We got equal, you know what I'm saying? Next generation, but also while we're here, anybody you can, you just, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Agreed. So we're going to wrap this up, but we just want to say thank you for tuning in, and thank you Ms. Bria De Niro, for being our special guest today. And your poem was definitely moving. Is beautiful. I mean,
even years later.
Exactly.
I'm like, when I watch it, I'm like,
we didn't even get it.
So so much better.
Like using Juice and having his own friend, showing the own friend and Juice kill himself. Yeah.
I know exactly.
I caught every parallel that you put.
Thank you.
Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
For you to have a mind like that at such a young age is awesome.
That's beautiful. It really is.
That's why your baby's
It
smart.
leads me to think like what other work, like when you move, like that was when you were 17, so I just can only imagine what you have now. So you want to bring the mic up and let people know where we can like find your information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spit a little song.
Okay. So you guys can all follow me. My Instagram is Bria De Niro. So BriaDinero, like the money, literally. And my YouTube's Bria De Niro. Everything of me is really Bria De Niro. I'll make it super easy. Actually, I'm sorry. My Instagram is not Bria De Niro. It's Breezy De Niro. But if you type in Bria De Niro, it still comes up. It's BREEZY De Niro. And I'm working on a lot of stuff right now. I haven't put out any new poetry in a while because I feel like when I got pregnant, I kind of like took a break from the world and really need to regroup as a person. Yeah. And now I'm really trying to work on books. That's like my main thing right now. Like aside from just doing the YouTube videos, I really want to have books and like carry that mentality to books. So yeah, it's a lot to come. Trying to think, you said didn't have anything prepared.
It's okay. I just didn't know if you had a go-to, like you just,
And this Sunday, we are going to have our first segment of Get Lit. Get Lit is our literature segment, and we are going to have our special guest, Miss Kalia Irvin. She is a author, musical composer, and a miracle testimony. So we're going to have tea time with this young lady.
How old is she, 11?
She's 11 years old, and she is diagnosed with a rare eye disease that is, she's slowly going blind, which is unfortunate, but she is still living her purpose. She's still living in her truth, regardless of what's happening to her. And we invite the community, ages 9 and above, to come sit down with her, come sit down with us, and let's discuss her lovely book and have some tea. And maybe some little finger sandwiches. Yeah. Yes, that'd be great. It's going to be Chato Tea Room. So dope. I think it's in Torrance. Chato Tea Room, 1303 El Prado Avenue. If you didn't catch that, go ahead and follow us on our social media. We'll have that flyer up for you guys. And yes, thank you so much. Any final touches? Any final words from you guys?
Rest in peace, Neighborhood Nip.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Neighborhood Nip.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, legacy will not die.
And if anybody tell you he not, argue them down. That's my own opinion. I'm just joking.
Make sure you do your part. Don't wait for the next person to do their part, because then nothing gets done. You do your part, somebody else gonna see you doing your part. That's the butterfly effect.
And just spread love, you know what I'm saying? Everything good come from love, yo.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're young voices, but we making choices. So we tend to forget that. We're not only we don't only have a voice. We also have 2 hands, 2 feet. I'm sorry if some of y'all don't.
One brain.
But you got use what you have and make that choice and do right. So yeah.
That's right. Make good choices, y'all.
Good choices.
Young Voices making good choices. Follow us on Instagram at Young Voices MC, Facebook Young Voices MC, and Twitter as well, Young Voices MC. We'll be here every Thursday, so tune in next Thursday at 7 p.m. You know where we're at. You guys have a good night, and rest in peace again to Mr. Hustle and his family.
Neighborhood Nip.
Neighborhood Nip.
Love y'all.
Good night, y'all.